Yo, yo, anybody home? All right, we're going to start here in 2 minutes, couple of minutes. Get the mic in place. Hey there. James Joyce from the UK. Come on now, is that really your name? That's a good one. But I bet you get asked that all the time. Level's okay? It looks like it is on my little board I have in front of me. All right, we'll get started here. Let's go. I started with 3 minutes here. I usually give 3 minutes. Where we at? 32. Set this microphone off to the side a little bit. And we have a pretty good lag here. Interesting mix today. I got a lot of equities. There's some. It's kind of a mix today, equities and crypto. I mean, it's worth noting that you trade them differently. It's probably. Here we go. There's where we started. You do trade equities differently. It's the only asset class really that lends itself to breakout trading. All right, there's 33. Okay, let's go ahead and start. So let me get rid of the disclaimer here. All right, so speaking of equities, this is getting started here. Oh, I should, I don't do this as often as I should. Just for those that are maybe checking us out for the first time, all we do here now, we do this every Wednesday. I poll the members. I ask them to post their assets, whatever they're watching and what they're applying the TA that we teach them. I like these, right? Because I get to interact with the members, kind of see how they're progressing with our material. So I always look forward to the live stream days. Today I had to push a little bit to get enough charts, but these guys always come through eventually. So that's what we do here. And then, I kind of do this in real time. The idea being that I want people that are watching or members to kind of go through the thought process. So I'm charting out loud with them. And hopefully they pick up a nugget or two. Often there are good setups here that can be something you might add to your own watch list based on what you see here. As I say often, some of the best trades that I get all year long are from these live streams because of course I can't watch everything. And I see something here, and often I will either trade it during or immediately after the live stream if I like it enough. So that's the idea here. Now, first up here, this is from member Cryptogenis, who's he's an excellent member. He posts often, right? He always comes through on these live streams. He's got a lot of content. He does like trend lines, right? So this is his chart. I've left a lot on here. Now, of course, when it's not your chart, it's a little trickier, right, to kind of get your head around what's here. Always easier when it's yours, when you've applied all the material here. So he's obviously telling us something about these these arrows, and it looks like that's tied here. Now, I should note here, I do this often. I don't want people to think that volume is not important, right? So he's got his volume here. The only thing that I do consistently, I just take it off the main chart. I want it underneath because I want the screen real estate. It seems silly, but I mean, I do that because I want it down here. I don't want it in the middle of the chart so that I can get away from it if I want to. That's just my personal preference, right? Again, I don't want people to think that I don't pay attention to volume. I do. It's incredibly important. If I had to pick between volume by time and volume by price, I would lean towards a volume profile. I think that's more significant to a trader. But why would you not use both, right? I mean, here's a pretty good example. Why you would use both. Okay, so clearly he's highlighting here with these arrows the divergence that we're seeing here. It's deceptive here. He's got the arrow here, but it's bullish divergence. This is bearish divergence, right? So, RSI is the most popular indicator for a reason. It's certainly worth looking at it because most do. So, you wouldn't want to avoid it. It wouldn't be something I would use exclusively for a trading decision, but if it aligns with the price action, market structure, the Elliott count, things that we pay attention to closely, then it's just one more confirmation, right? And he's noting it here, right? How many times it's been useful to him or useful to anyone, trying to grapple with this market. No shortage of volatility of late, right? For the shorter term traders, if you like volatility, well, you're getting a buttload of it. Some, would prefer a smoother ride, but certainly in the shorter term, we're getting some, right? We've got valuations here that we are, obviously extreme, but we have a uniquely, what do we want to call it? I mean, some are considering this the fourth revolution here. The AI revolution here is certainly. The numbers are so huge, it's hard to get your head around it, right? So the last thing we want to do is not pay attention to it. But we are getting to the point where you're almost anticipating the drawdown here, let me rephrase that, a pullback here, because when everybody's on one side of the boat, right, often you need to rebalance. So that could be the start of what we're seeing here. Now add in the trade war and Trump's. I have to stay away from that. But you add in the trade war, and we get some increased volatility. Now, we got a government shutdown. We got the usual bullshit out of Washington, right, as they fight amongst themselves, right? But guess what, right? Nobody cares as long as the markets keep going up. That's the reality of America 2025. Nobody cares as long as the markets keep going up. Markets keep coming down. Find some people caring a little bit more. So now I'm kind of sprinkling in a little of my own bias here and disdain for what we see in Washington. So I don't want to get on a soapbox there. But let's get back to the TA. Now I'm going to take this off here. So this is per his count here. We completed something up here. He's not labeling that wave. I'm going to have to go back to a 3-day here and let's get some perspective on this, on where we are. Another one on my team, GZ1968, has had this just beautifully nailed. So if this is 3-4, let me move this for a second. He's got 5 up here. So here, CryptoGenesis, here's one where I think you just left out a count here. So let's, if this is, hang on, let's use this arrow. Come here. So this is a good here. Let me give me a second here. It takes me a minute to get warmed up. Okay, if we completed an impulse here, and this is the correction, which seems very valid. Well, let's label it. Right? I want something thicker. Right? So if this is the completed impulse, right? Well, there's your, there's the first trade war. Okay, 1-2 seems reasonable. Okay. What are we finishing here? Right? So I'm kind of just trying to get for your benefit, CryptoGenesis, right? So it doesn't make sense the way you have it labeled. It would imply that. Do you see what I'm getting at here? I want this, right? If this is the 4 here, now we're looking to complete a 5. Jesus, why can I not get that thing? I want this to be fatter. Let's do this. Give me a second here. All right. Now that I've got that. Okay, if this is the 4, and we've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very legit. Does it have the right look? Absolutely. Beautiful looking impulse, right? That has completed. There's the retrace, right? We retrace 50% of it. Well, all right, so your count has this completing here. We're going to complete as an ABC. Seems unlikely. So would this be 1, 2, the 1, right? So that would imply that this goes much higher. Per what you've got on here, Crypto Jazz. I'm just reacting to what you posted. 1, 2, 1, 2, right? I'm just trying to follow what you've got here. So let's see if I can I hide? I don't think I can hide them all. I can't. Well, let's play this forward. If this is 1 and this is a 2, so we make a 50% retracement. You know, where do they usually go? Well, that's where they usually go, 50 to 618, right? So we get a perfect, you know, all the TA you could hope for, right? So prior resistance becomes support. I mean, it's literally, you know, right out of a textbook. So you've got potentially now. God, you see, this is where I want your labeling here. If we complete it here, are you suggesting this could be a B, and we're coming down here because you've got this as a. See, it just doesn't quite make sense the way you got it labeled here. So again, I'm going to get stuck here if I spend too much time on it. But if we completed something here and this is the retrace, what is this, right? You've left me hanging here. So you've got are you thinking this is an A wave? B? Yeah, I'm not sure where you're going with this. So let me just add here my 2 cents for what that's worth. If this is 1, 2, this would be the 1 of 3, right? We're getting so bullish, it's getting, you know, crazy. But I've seen some very, very skilled technicians with targets up 8,500, but that would be out, you know, 27, 28, right? Possible? Well, there's never been anything quite like what we're seeing in the AI revolution, the build out, the money being spent, right? It's so huge, you can't, it's impossible to grasp the amount of money we're talking about. But, you know, these are the major players that have the money to do this. The question remains, right, is I'm sure we're all reading and hearing the same kind of stuff. With all this money being invested, how long before they start to receive return on that capital? That's the wild card in all of this. As technicians, of course, you want to be aware of that and keep an eye on the major players, right? So you can look at all the industry because it's not just the AI build out, it's all of the infrastructure that goes with that. And then the energy required, you know, to sustain all of this. To implement all of this is just going to be massive, right? So now we've got AI competing for computing power and electricity along with, you know, crypto miners. I'm not sure who's going to win that battle. But likely it's going to be very bullish for, you know, infrastructure and energy providers. So let's keep that in mind. So if this is a 1, 2 and we're doing the 1 of the next leg here, I'm going to suggest that might be overly bullish. So I would just work from here's our last low to at the moment I've got this swing here. If we're going to complete something up here, then we'd be looking for something more like this. Would we not, Crypto Jazz? Something, if we're going to get a 1 or a 2, if this is going to be 1, 2, and then we're going to go big for the 3 because the 5 is way up here. You know, let's take it one swing at a time. Right now, let's go to let's go to an 8-hour, see if we can, if we can break into that anymore. I know he's got a lot of lines here, so I'm going to pull some of these off just so we can get a grip on it. I see what you're doing here. I'll kind of try and recreate the same thing. So if this is a 4 here, it's tied to this 1. I'm going to take that up a little bit so people can see it. 1, there's the 2. I mean, unbelievable 3, right? It's just massive. But it is technical. Let's get this out of here. So if this is 1 and this is 2, right? We're not quite yet to the 2618, right? That's out of log scale. So, you know, 200, we're in that pocket, right? Oh, there's usually something here that would trigger that. I'd have to dig to find it. But if this is 1, 2, 3, well, of course, we're going to pay attention to the wave 1 high here. For retrace, could we be doing something like this? Let's get this out of here. Okay, down for the 4. Is this the start of the 4? Well, we would anticipate some sort of a 3-wave structure. We're on an 8, right? Is that an A and we're doing a B? Liquidity. Big fair value gap here that's yet to be filled. It's getting pretty close. I got close this morning, all right? So we can look here, not completely mitigated, but very, very close. Let's go down to a 4. If you looked at it, right, what would your thought be? Okay. No divergence yet here. Volume's fading a little bit. If that's the 3, this would be this would be uncharacteristic in terms of how short it is, and that we don't really have a clean 5 there, even if I go to a 60. I mean, you're digging there, right? So A, B, C, W, X. Right? It's hard to call it, right? Because this is just a free fall. Hard to have a whole lot of conviction in what happens here, right? It's just a waterfall. And then the retrace here, we filled in the majority of that. For not quite, right? If you went right up to the last little bit of it, you still have a little bit that's unmitigated here. I would consider that, you know, pretty close. So if we start to come down here, you're going to want to be paying attention to the mitigation on the way down. So does he have? I don't think he does have it. So let me get this one here. I like this one because it gives me both of them. So here's the fair value gap that remains there. Here's the 2 down here. So if we're coming down here, this will be telling as to what we get down here when we hit these imbalances, right? The market likes to move from one imbalance to the next. So if we're coming back for internal, well, do we hold or do we push and then get a retrace and then get something that would be more consistent with perhaps we get a WX, right? So 3, 3, 3. We get a WXY to give us a double down here to come down to these lower areas of structure as he's highlighting here for a better looking, more consistent, right? It's again, I like to say this often, right? The market's not obligated to do anything. It's going to do what it's going to do. We see a 5, we're like, oh, well, it must do that. No, there's no must. There's no, it's got to. It's just, what does it usually do? Right? When you want at least to have an awareness, well, what does it usually do after it completes an impulse? And how long does it usually take, right? Again, there's no absolute. There's no, well, it might better be, you know, to this percentage of the 3rd wave. They're just tendencies, right? To which we use to say, okay, do I have a potential edge? Well, given the market that we're in right now, you want to buy it or you want to sell it? I mean, gun to my head, right? But let me rephrase that. Where's the better risk reward for the risk that you're taking for the potential reward, right? It seems, you know, not to be, you know, insulting, right, in the way that I structure that. But if I just did it this way here, it's commonly, right, done. We just kind of do it in quarters. Here's 50, right? We want to be a seller up here. Well, yeah. Now I'm not saying the trend is over, the top is in. I'm just saying, if for a trader, where's the better risk reward? Now, of course, you know, you don't have to take a trade, right? Not being in the market or not putting on a new trade is a trading decision. You might, if you're a bull, just a perma bull, right? As so many are right now. Maybe you wait for a retrace, right? And to be buying the dip. Okay, right. Again, if it were gun to my head, I'm buying puts or put spread here. That's how I would do it. Good. Thanks, Crypto Janice. Appreciate you posting here. Let's see. Did you give me... Is it the same? Oh, no, I got to get to your new chart. Okay, so now we're going to do BTBT. Oh, shit, I've forgotten the name. This is the micro-strategy of Ether. Shit, I can't remember the name. But I've seen it. Okay, let me get this copied here. And this is lower right. Bit digital, that's it. Okay, so lower right, let's get this up, right? So again, lots of lines. I'm gonna do this here. All right, so just so I see them better. Oh, and I do this for my benefit. So they pop a little bit better. Okay, we're out to a daily here. Okay, good ideas, right? We're just wicking off where the potential pivots are. Why? Right? Well, of course, that's where all the liquidity is, right? So the algos pay attention to that. Looks like we had more here. You've got equal highs here, right? So this would be an obvious target for algos just down here, right? Where's the worst location you could possibly short the market? Right there. Right? What happens? Right. I say this a lot, right? Don't be that guy, right? You don't sell the pivots, right? There's never a reason to do it, right? You say, what if it falls through the floor and I miss it, right? There's much I would propose more intelligent ways to do it. If we break here, take the retrace, right? Because there will be a fight to push back, right? Then often you'll get a better trade outcome by just waiting. Yes, you're going to miss some if you do that, right? Be prepared to miss some. I think that's a better approach than being a breakout person. Okay, what do we have here, right? Looks like we've got a clear, let's see. I guess we're going to live with that. You could do this as an impulse. You could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It wouldn't matter, right? So we get to a 1 here. Now, my guess is he probably moved it, right? Because now we've got a series of 3s. So I get one A, B, C into a 1, A, B, C. Let's see. I've got a flat here. Yes, we do, right? So we have 3, 3, 5 into a 2. So I've got a decent 1, 2. It looks like it's likely technical, right? So if I pull from that proposed 1, we come right to a 50, right? So that's, again, where do they usually go? Okay, right? So we've got a candidate here. And all of the ingredients we look for at a pivot, right? Did they sweep liquidity? Yes. Was there displacement? Well, equities is always going to trade a little bit differently. It looks like we had some fair value gap. Same imbalance, right? These are footprints of institutions, right? So, hey, hello. Right, we get a little gap here. Now, you got to be careful with equities, right, because they leave gaps all over the place. But here's a gap that we can take advantage of right to it. So displacement, right? Boom. How are the sellers feeling right here? Not so good. Would be similar to, again, I do this to the point of being annoying, but I'm just trying to drive it home. How the buyers doing up here? How about the sellers down here? Just over and over again, right? You just don't ever there's no ever any reason to do that other than you just prefer to give your money to institutions, which I'm going to assume you don't. 1, 2, that's not a great looking impulse. That's a little bit of a hopium count. Valid, yeah, but I mean, does it have the right look, right? That's often... Right look? No, I would propose not. Is there an alternate there? Well, ABC would be your first thought, right? That we don't get the right time separation. The length of the 1 relative to the 5 is not great, but we overlap the 1. So what are your choices here? ABC, ABC, ABC. Not great, right? So, okay, what have I got here now? Do I have any edge here? That's always the question, right? It's not whether, we go up, we go down here, right? Obviously, but as it sits here right now, what is the edge that you have? What are you going to be, a buyer or a seller? Well, I think I made it pretty clear here that this would not be an ideal spot to buy the market. But this, right, what he's proposing here would be a smarter way to do it. Well, let me rephrase. In my opinion, right, you wouldn't want to buy that breakout because that's just obvious liquidity. It's almost too obvious. So here's volume again, right? So good push in volume here. So you're looking at this going, okay, well, they're the micro strategy of Ether. Why is this chart price action so shitty? What do you see here, right? That's all I see. Range. Right, well, if we're in an obvious range, and I think we could all agree that's a range. Well, do you want to be buying the top of it or the bottom of it? You want to be selling the top of it? If I put a volume profile on this, this is just going to be, big. Well, here, let's do it. I always just do it from the low. So we're right, here's the mid range here from this low. If I'm just looking at that volume profile, okay, I'm up above, right? Well, here's 70% of the price action here. Do I want to buy that on the assumption that it's just going to keep going? Well, I look at this and say, okay, well, I definitely do not want. Again, this is me. I wouldn't go near that, right? I wouldn't buy that until it starts to retrace. Look, 1, 2, 3. Now, a lot of retail will look at that and go, "Oh God, that's got to be good resistance up there here." So, we can take advantage of that. Each one of these, do you see how each one of them is a liquidity square? Jesus, it's almost obscene what they do, right? So here, okay, oh, breakout. Now we move over one. Breakout. Oh, not so good. Oh, are we going to do this again? I mean, is retail that? They're not going to do it again, are they? Oh, yes, they are. They always do. Always. Right? You're going to count on that. So I'm not saying this is not going higher, right? That's never what I'm saying. I'm just saying in terms of entry, where you're going to enter, don't enter here. As he's laid it out, you're much better to enter down here. Let it do what it's going to do here, and then look for a retrace. Where's the better risk reward? But what if it go? Well, what if it? You can't think like that, right? It's just always about probabilities and where do I have edge, right? What is your edge here if you're buying this? Do you have one? Well, what else is there, right? Where's Al, right? You always got to know where Al is. Right above. You probably got him twice here, right? So, oh, Jesus. So you look and you go, God, I wonder why it stops here. I can't seem to get a handle on why it continues to be facing resistance here. Why here? That's why. Now, when we break here, so this is what happened. People say, oh, shit, I broke the golden zone. Well, what's the algo going to do? Going to go back a pivot. So you're not in the clear here until you break this, which is what, 763. You got to get a close above. Then this starts to make more sense, right? Then the retrace, you want to come back for the retrace. Then you got something you work with. Elliott is a little shitty in here. So it's not really helping you here. We're just range bound. So you got to be patient here. You got to be willing to let a little movement happen here that you're not going to participate in, because the safer play, the more strategic, let me say it that way, will be the retrace. Well, but what if it goes way up here? Well, what if it does? Oh, but I would admit, right? Well, you could make the same claim here. What if it? What does it usually do? What does it usually do? These are the next targets, right? You got 3 good targets up here. So I'm not saying you don't want to buy it. I'm just saying don't buy the breakout. Don't be a dumbass, right? You just self-inflicted wounds, all self-inflicted. You do not have to buy that. You do not have to buy that. But somebody did every time. Okay, let me keep going to Mara. Okay, we're going to move to a defense contractor. These guys, this is a hot, well, as you might suspect, now that we have the Department of War. War is good for business. Don't ever forget that. Okay, so let me get rid of this one. I got Mara Holdings down here. Oh, wait a second. Uh-oh. What happened? Hang on. Just happened to look over. I got something's up. Do we get it? Yeah, we're good. Oh, that was weird. I looked over it and we had the disclaimer up, but I'd taken that off. But I just need a refresh. Let me get back to the chat. Jeez, I might be by myself in here for all I know. Anybody? Well, I'll just keep going. I know it's recording it, so something happened there. I got no one in the chat. Okay, right, I had a few there before. Okay, we'll just keep going because this is getting recorded, so hopefully we didn't miss all that initial content. That was weird. The restream did not update. Okay, let's just see. No one sent me a message, so I guess we're okay. That was odd. Okay, all right. So here I am with Mara Holdings. That's the drawback of having that way off to the right. Okay, Mara Holdings. This is a weekly. Well, we got some pretty clear support down here. This is a very bullish approach to this. Let me just quickly reset here. It's just so weird. I don't know what happened there, but okay. So this is in log scale. Do we have to be in log scale? We got to be in log scale. Okay, right. So here's an impulse. Here's a retrace. I'm going to do this real quick. All right. It's similar to the last one, right? It feels a little bit forced in there. One thing we can see, right? This is a good sign, right? Okay, well, we know we begin and we end in fives, right? So there's a nice looking 5 down. That's a 5 up. Well, so this is a little bit confusing here from an Elliott perspective, right? I got a 5 up, I got a 5 down. So where are we in this, right? So I like how he's taken to wicking off all the pivots, right? So we know where the liquidity is. I mean, not that you don't know, right? But it's just helpful, right, for targeting. 1, 2, perfect 50. That's a weekly, right? So we come down to the daily, so this starts to look a little bit better. 1, 2. Okay, right. So okay, it's not the prettiest, right? You'd have to do this as a diag, right? Because we get the overlap here, so it's a little bit mislabeled here. Well, I guess we could do leading diag into the 1, but then this is a breakdown here, so we don't get an impulse here, even though we do get we get 5 swings. It's not an impulse because of the overlap here. So let me change that color. Okay, can we still work with it here? Well, you'd have to. Oh, we can leave that. God, that looks like a 5 too, right? So you got to recognize here the potential that this is just done an A, a B, and a C, all right? And then it's because the Elliott here is a little bit elusive. You don't have an impulse here, and it looks like you're doing 5s, right? So you rather than 3s, this looks like a clean 5, right? So to finish this, looks like we had this to finish. Let me take that down. Oh, fuck. Come here. Let's put that in. Oh, fuck. Where are you? Something here. Put it in yellow. Okay, right. Okay. Do we have a 5 here? Well, we don't have an impulse, right? So, maybe we don't want to spend too much time over here, right? So, as we work off of the pivot here. I would count this a little bit differently here, but I don't want to get overly caught up on this. So we complete here once again, just to not to be annoying with this, but how did the buys go there? How did that go? Probably about as well as the buys here went. Just saying, how did the sells go here? How did that work out? Not so well. Okay. I'm just kind of making that point to where I'm trying to make sure that you don't ever do it, right? That you don't just, with one exception, right? Equities, you can at times do it, but I'm showing you a whole lot of examples where maybe not the best idea. So what do I have here? I'm on a daily 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, it's so cryptogenesis, right? You just want to be mindful of the labeling here. You can't well, let me rephrase that. If you're playing this as an impulse and this is the correction, right? Then here's the next impulse. Then here's the 4, right? Well, we have to recognize that we no longer have an impulse. So you're labeling this as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So yes, it's 5 swings, but the way you're labeling it is not consistent with rules and guidelines, right? So for what that's worth, it's more, I just want you to be aware of it, right? If you are and you're just labeling it this way anyway, well, okay, so be it, right? That's your choice. I don't want you to be thinking, oh, I've got an impulse here, because you don't. Right? This is where we lose the impulse, right? When we overlap, right? We lose the impulse. So what do we call it? A, B, C, right? Would work here. But that's going to change how you think of it, right? So let me pull this off here, because if here's 5, 3, 5, right, we can call that an ABC. So let's call this ABC. Okay, right now we're coming off a low here at what are we at, 786 here? Okay, so the proposal is that we've got a wave 2 here, off of what was already, you know, and I don't mean to give you a hard time. They're mislabeled, right? You can't call that an impulse, right? So, okay, well, let's call it a 5 followed by a 3 to the 786. Okay, so we're looking for the next set of swings higher. So ABC, well, what else could that be? Well, we could call that a 1, right? We could have a diag going in. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to change this for you. Let's take that up. Right. Could we do this as a series of ABCs? Yeah, we could, right? We could have a diag. So we could go 3, 3. Well, here's the first part of it. So this would be the A, the B, and now we're trying to get a C for the 3. Well, then you'd be anticipating a deeper retracement for the 4, right? It's no longer a requirement that we overlap the 1, but we'd want to look for a series of 3s, right? To stay consistent with the idea that we're doing a diag. So if this is the 1, this is the 2, and we're going to go A, B, C. Do we have it? Well, it's not ideal, but okay. 2, there's a 5, right? So you would think A, then you would think B, then you would think another 5 to give you the C. So Mara Holdings, okay, kind of the same idea here, right? What are we doing here? As the market often does, right? We're ranging. We're right in, we're at the upper quarter of the range, right? So you want to be a buyer or a seller here. Well, if you're anxious to be a buyer, the idea is you kind of want to let this continue going. Let me get this back here. If we're going to get an A up here, that would set up the B. So if you want to be a buyer here, my suggestion would be let's let this 5 complete. Maybe it's in the process of completing, and then the next retrace would be here. The next trade would be the C, would be here. We'd want this one. If you want to be bullish here, but don't buy. Well, I would encourage you to think twice about buying up here, right? Based on historically how that's performed. Doesn't matter if it does this, right? At some point it will retrace, right? We'll come right back into it. You'd have your opportunity here to take that leg. That's where you want to be. That would be part of your 3. Okay, all right. So let me keep. I don't know what's going on with the. Something seems to be up with the. It's not refreshing. I swear to God, I don't know what's up here. I don't know if I hit refresh, if it's resetting the whole thing. Now we're getting it. This is just weird. I don't know what's going on today. Now it's showing, but I'm having to refresh that. Yeah, this could be a one-man live stream. I don't know what's going on with the software that I use to send this out, but it does not look like it's working right. Oh, well, I'll just do it, right? So then, so people can watch it after the fact. Can't stop now. Okay, right, so nobody's pinging me, right? So it makes me wonder. Makes me wonder if it's going out or not. It says it's live. Very weird. Okay, well, I'll just refresh them periodically if I have to. I do not know why that's not happening. Okay, right. So all right, there's Mara, right? Again, I think you're just in a hurry up and you're waiting for the retrace in the B to catch the C would be my suggestion. Canadian Starlink, let's go here. This is another one from Crypto Janice, who was the first one to start posting. I was a little late on posting the content. Okay, let me get this saved. You do see, oh, thanks for letting me know, man. Justin, it's something weird on my end. Like what I'm seeing on YouTube is not updating. It's weird. Thanks for letting me know. Okay, so let me, this is good here. So I'm going to, thanks, get over here. It's the thing about live streams. There's no dress rehearsal. You go live and you're stuck with whatever's happening. Okay, so this is TSAT. This is Starlink. Yeah, it's got to be. Okay, this again, right? Crypto Janice, he loves trend lines, right? I'm not. The only reason I pull some of it off is it's just harder, right? When it's not your stuff, right? You're like, what the fuck? Okay, let me pull back here. Oh, so I forgot he likes some Wyckoff here. Right? So we've got show of weakness. We don't get a spring here, but we get a secondary test. There's two models for Wyckoff. This is the second one. So we get a show of strength, and then we come out of it with an impulse, higher, low. Here's our test, right? I guess we're getting a test here. Higher, low. Okay, right? So a little Wyckoff mixed in there. Move this off. So off of the low here. Now, one thing that is always a bit of a tell, right? Since we know, right, that the algos like to go after the liquidity, right? When they aren't getting it, right? When they don't get it, right? That's telling, right? Just even here, it's often what the two is about, right? So a deep two is, oh, come on, seriously, they're not going to get that liquidity, seriously. Oh. Now here, this is you don't have an impulse here. You have an attempt and then a retrace. I would start the whole thing down here, right? So as he's done. So 1, 2, that looks like you probably got a 50 there. You do, right? So here's your 50, there's your target. So Al is in, of course. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. Now again, we have a little bit of a overlap here that's questionable, right? So it's just wicks down here. It's not a great looking 3 again, right? I got a great ABC. I get a 1, 2, 3. Oh, you can live with it. Excuse me. Whoa, shit. Breakfast just kicked back on me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I guess I can live with that. What did we complete? Is that the 1? Well, it kind of looks like maybe we're having a shallow 2 here. Well, we're coming off of it pretty aggressively. We're leaving gaps behind. That's unusually shallow, right? So that's all you can say about it is, okay, well, is not like they've never done something that shallow before. It's just unusually shallow. So he's actually, let's see, he's pulling from here. Where's your... Oh, we've got to be in log scale, right? So we're almost to a 50. This would have been the retest of the breakout, right? It's right here from the Wyckoff. 1, shallow 2. Okay, well, impatient traders. I'm going to pull that off for a second. We could do it as a diag. Although this is a clean 5, right? So let's just leave that as a 5. Shallow 2. Okay, what am I doing here? Well, if this is the 3, I got some big targets up here. If that's what we're going to do, God, is there an alternate here? Let's go with it. Okay, where's the resistance? Oh, we're on a daily. We got a ways to go. We've cleared from this pivot here. We've cleared Al, right? So this was likely him here. There he is in the pocket, retrace. Now we get the break, right? So Al is off the board, at least from this pivot. where is he, right? He's still going to be in here, but you have to find him where he will always be here. There he is. So you can see him. I always laugh. I give him a gender and a name. So here's the algo target right here. So we're in the pocket right here. We have this between the 50 and the golden zone. There's a fair value gap here it responds to. There's clearing first target, right? So that algo has been paid, right? So we can pull this off now. What's our target here? Well, I would sure pay attention up here, right? The obvious liquidity up here. That would be shallow for the 3. So now you're looking at this going, well, how is this likely to get there? Let's get in there a little bit. Can't say I love this. Let's go to an 8. That's interesting. When I go to other times, I get additional work from him. This is just so shallow. It would make me uncomfortable with it. Buying that. Well, I would see, for me, since this is a breakout, right? So okay, I'm waiting for the retrace. Now maybe if I go to a 2 hour here. It's a little shitty here. 1, 2, we overlap already. It's a lot of overlapping here right now. This is, you're going to have a natural overlap. As far as I'm concerned, I got to wait for a retrace there. Good. Okay, a little break, right, and still going. Maybe you can call this shit. You're gonna have this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe you get a 1, 2 here as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then this looks like you're in your 3rd here. Could still be going. That looks like the 4 of the 3rd into a 5. Looks like you might have that. Well then, let's measure. Right, where do they usually go? 2nd most common. Right, 127,138. Got a little start on a retrace. That would be incomplete. Looks to me like that's A. We're working on B, and I'd be looking for a 4 down here. You know, if I had to trade, I'm not sure I would trade this, right? As it is, it's not that good. But if those of you looking at it that might be interested, impulsive, right? Just displacement all the way down, retrace there. You know, that's often what the B wave is. It's kind of a sucker wave. A, B, C. But I'd be looking for it there. So then I get a better looking technical setup. Remember, right, when you're in an impulse, right, you really want to pay attention to the channeling. Right? Can I hold this channel? Now, right, if we get a little outside of it, that's okay, right? We want to stay with, we don't want to get too far outside of it. And just, you know, standard ops, I would always wick off the 1, or I'd do it just by habit. 1, 2, okay, good looking 3. I love the 4 right down here. Now we've got potentially a prior resistance becomes the support. Potentially, right? It's always just potentially. Is this Al? I think this. We just looked at that, right? So this is the one we just looked at, right? So we just went to its target. So that's clean. We get up here. You'd be completing this 3. That would be kind of shallow for the 3. Let's go from here. Could we do another 1, 2, 7, 1, 3? Right, so I'd be looking up here. 1, 2. Do we have a corner? We do. Looks like it's already hit. It has, right? So your 80% has already been burned, right? Tagged right here, right? That's your 80%, right? Don't forget those. So that's out of here, right? So I just looking good there. Down here, oh, I love it down here for the buy up there. I'd probably trade it with options. Come down here, put on a call spread. Good one. Okay, thanks for that, Cryptogenesis. I got one more from him. Oh man, he went crazy. Let's see how am I doing down here. Oh shit. I know you missed it. I'll get you, Dr. Alvin. Okay, so, all right, Crypto Janice, I'm going to do, how am I doing on time? I swear, this is just so weird. Yeah, all good that I can see. Okay, well, so, for some reason, when I'm looking at what you guys are looking at, it's still got Mara Holdings on it, and I'm already on Telesat. The lag can't be that long. Fuck. I don't know what's going on. Restream is a little funky every now and then. All right, so I'm going to assume that if you guys are not seeing it, you're going to tell me. Okay, let's look at his ETH here, and then I got to move on to some others. So he's got an ETH scalping one here, for those of you who like to day trade in crypto. I got to copy that. And where is his ETH? ETH 30 minute. Got to be down here. Okay, all right, so let's see how it's playing. Oh, all right, so that looks like he wasn't intending for that to be broken. So we'll push that off for a second. Oh, again, it's just me doing this. I think it just is easier to see on the stream. 1, 2, all right, so this is, after the meltdown. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now channeling looks very good here. Now, so here's an example. Okay, well, do we have a runner here? We can just do this, right? Put a sliding parallel on that. It's deep, right? We invalidate here. Now, note here that you might have to reconsider this. Because, right, CryptoGenesis seems to be something that's kind of consistent with you. And again, I'm doing this so that to be sure that you're aware of it. I cannot call this an impulse, right? Because we overlap here. This impulse, the whole thing, not an impulse. Now, the wild card here is with this low, is that a legit one? On the 30-minute. I mean, really, you wanted it to hold here, right? So what's an alternate? Well, the first thing I would check is from this low, how did we do here? Because the alternate you might consider is, well, let's just get that out of there. Is, do we have another 1, 2 here? 1, 2. Right now, could this be another one? Well, if we're going to come out of here, I'm not saying this is the count. I'm just looking at this going, maybe I have to reconsider here because I've got a clear impulse here, and this is a straight line. So I would be a little reluctant here. So I'm going to just use this as an example here. Swing trading with Elliott Wave is always going to be easier 60 minutes and higher, right? You're not going to change the counts as much. You're not going to be like, oh, fuck, this shit doesn't work. 4 hour and above really is where most Elliottians have the most success, right? You get down to 30 minute and below, you're changing the count all the time. It can be less helpful than it should be. Okay, so if this is a 1, 2, well, okay, if this fails, then we're going to reconsider this. Because this is impulsive down. Okay, yeah, I got a 5 here. Is there a rework on that? I don't think there is. Loved it had we held here, right? But we didn't. To me, this is no trade, right? Because it's unclear what's happening here. Is this the one? Is this the one? This could be 1, 2, 1, 2, right? For the Super Bowl. All right, now let's go a little bit further out. What do we think? Where do we think we are? Oh man, I'm gonna have a lot of his other stuff here. I think probably no disagreement here that that's a 1, 2, 3, and we're in a 4 here. So we're having a harder time getting this started. So, but now look right out here. Just look. Notice when I come out here, how this gets easier to read. Let me get all this out of here. Oh, come here. This won't erase it on his stuff, just on what I'm looking at here. This is questionable, right? So wicks like this, you can think of they're like a gap, right? So you want to pay attention to the 50% of it. This is essentially, it's a gap. So we've come back here and we've mitigated here, and now we're coming out of this. So this is questionable. This is where going to a line chart, like, oh, wait, what did we really do there? Now you look at this and you go, oh, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? It seems to make a little bit more sense. Oh, fuck, come here. All right, so we go 1, we're looking for the 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, bring it back in here, right? So could this be A, B, C? Well, again, let's get, do I have it on here? Wait, no, I don't. I just like this one because it gives me regular and inverted on the same chart. Okay, right, so here's all my displacements, fair value gaps, right? Imbalances that the market likes to correct. So I got a lot of them on here. Now let's check where Al is. I got 2. Well, the algo is going to pull twice, right? It'll pull from the absolute low. Right, we're coming into a 50. So we can, if this is 1, 2, 3, it's, you know, it's see, what makes this tricky is where's the pivot of your 1. So recognizing that, I would be more comfortable, since this is all wick, right? We're looking at the closes, going 1, 2, which means we could be coming down here easily. 1, 2, sliding parallel. What's the most common relationship between the A, the B, and the C? 100, which would put us right in the pocket here on the measured move algo. So A, B, C is what I see there, right? It's what I would anticipate. Where's the obvious liquidity? I think we all see that right there. So there will be a push to grab that, right? Potentially there's a setup there, right into the wicks of the push, right, to recover the low end of this fair value gap. So it looks to me like anywhere in here is potentially a buying opportunity. Here's a 5 followed by a 3. Now I would make a note of this low, right? And I would put an alert on it, right? So if we break that, okay, this whole thing's falling apart. And then you're likely looking at this as an A, a B, and then we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Right, so something more dramatic is happening. So you have to just think in your mind's eye, okay, well, what if we're not going to hold here, what's the alternate here? This is impulsive. It's reactionary, really, and it's exaggerated by all the liquidations. That could certainly be an ABC. It certainly could be. So caution, right? Wait until it sets up, right? You wait for your pitch, right? Don't take it like, oh, fuck, it's under $4,000, I got to buy it. Wait until you see it, right? And then you have conviction, because then you won't be as easily shaken out of the trade. Oh shit, it went against me a little bit. I better get out. Not sure what he's got there. I'm assuming the majority that are watching a stream of mine are long-term bulls. So let's pick our spots here. This could be, oh shit. What's disappointing here is that looked impulsive, right? So it looked like you had the 4 in here and you were going into a 1, 2. Well, then we get the liquidation melt, and now we have to reconsider the whole chart. The whole thing has to be rethought, right? Okay, so I'm coming off the low. Oh, where did I always like to do this? Okay, where did I put that pivot low in? Some reason for it? Well, probably an order block in here. That's a hurry up and wait in my book, right? You have no edge here, right? That's what I kind of always come back to. What's your edge? And if this is going to come down a little, oh shit, I can't do it there. If we're going to come down here a little further, I'm not necessarily sitting here with a limit order. I want to see a reaction, right? I want to see this, right? Something in here that I can play off to look for that, If that's 1, 2. Okay, all right, now somebody's writing me. Oh, somebody just posted. Okay, all right, let me keep moving. Dogecoin wave 4 could still be underway. Okay, I'll look at Doge. You know, if you're gonna trade a meme coin, which I don't always recommend, right? No, let me rephrase that. I never recommend. But if you're insisting on it, Doge would be the one. Doge, Pepe, Shinu, those are the only ones that I would ever trade. That's just my opinion. Right? I'm not saying don't do it if you're doing it, but certainly people have made gazillions trading meme coins. Okay, I think I got that covered. Okay, let me keep moving. That's a whole lot of crypto jams. But much thanks to him, many thanks to him, because this morning we had a light turnout here. Okay, so here comes by Zcash. This is, I think he's a new member, right? So welcome. That's his handle, by Zcash. God, have you looked at Zcash lately? Holy shit. But that's not what he's giving me. He's giving me, oh, Jesus, what is this? Solana, something. I looked at it and I thought, oh my God. What is the name of this? This is Soluna Holdings. Oh my God, this is one of the worst charts I've ever seen. Well, let's see. You know what? I'm by Zcash. Your chart is in bright white, so I'm just going to bring it up. Do I still have it? This isn't it, is it? I had it. Nope, that's not it. Okay, so let me bring this up. This is SLNH. Okay, prepare it to now. Okay, this is a good example of why context on the chart. Or so you might pull that up and go, "Whoa, wow, this looks great." Well, hang on a second. Let's pull out a little bit. Let's pull out a little bit further. Oh shit, maybe this is different than what he gave me. SLNH. Or whatever I was looking at before does that? Oh, there it is. Okay, that's what I was looking at before. Okay, so clearly COVID was good for them. I don't know anything about them. I don't know what they do, but that looks like 99, right? The internet crash, right? That's as severe. They got up to 6,800. They're at $3. Well, we can see there's potential there. So thus, all the more why, okay, well, can we even look at this out of log scale? No. But if we come down here and we just focus on this a little bit, okay, maybe I can, we did get up to 440. I mean, this thing has some unbelievable range, but we're pretty much stuck looking at it in log scale. Okay, all right, so now as we focus in here, with an awareness of where it's come from, okay, what do we have going on here, right? Well, we've got earnings coming up, right? Apparently people are bullish about the earnings. Look at the displacement, which is what that's showing you, right? Those are, why are fair value gaps so popular? Why is there so much, my God, right? Go to YouTube, 25,000 videos on fair value gaps, if not more, right? It's more, why is it so critical to the market? Because it's the fingerprints of the institutions. Retail, we can't move. We can't create that displacement. Only they can. So there's some things here that are interesting. So, you know, if this is so ugly, why couldn't they get the liquidity down here? You think there's some stops here? Probably. We don't get a good launch there. I'm going to go to the daily. Let's get this on the low. Okay, right. We've got another one here. I'm not sure why it's not giving me that. Let's go up to 910. They're up above. I wouldn't go 1-2. I would use this as the low. Even this right here. What did he give me? He gave me, let me look at his count. He's got it at, well, you know, it's okay to disagree. He's got this as a 1, 2, and 3, 4, and 5 would be much higher. Let's go. Well, you don't have an impulse, right? So you'd be doing ABC. Okay, let me stick with what he's got here, right, to stay consistent. Oh God, maybe you could do it this way, ABC. Right? You might be able to get away with that. WXY, more likely. Okay, well, so here's your impulse. This could fly. Take that back. This could fly. We could do an ABC that way. Expand the B. Okay, so next question. Where's the resistance? Well, we know we're going to have liquidity here, right? We don't have to wonder about it. We're sitting right there. It's literally like a bull waving a flag, or waving a flag to a red flag to a bull. Right? Oh. Well then, okay, let's start putting just standard ops. Well, if that's the 1 and that's the 2, we're already through most common. That sure looks like a 4. So it looks like this is the internal 3, 4. So let's label that. Oh shit, there's a bit of a wag here as to where you're going to call it. Let's take that down to something more reasonable. I'll put that in blue. All right, do we have a candidate here for the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to be going up here? I mean, this is classic 4, right? We stop progressing the trend, we consolidate, and then we're going to either break down or break up. We break up. It's still daily. This is a little 3, 1, 2. Might have a 1, 2 going in there. We do have some displacement, right? So good sign. So let's finish that labeling. If that's 1, 2, we're working on 3, 4, 5. So let's put that in white. Take this one up a degree. All right. Okay. So candidates all up here. Okay. What are we potentially setting up? If we're going to get 3, 4, and 5, if we're going to get that. You see here, right, the liquidity target that we drew, right, from over here. Very, very reasonable target. This is too wide for median lines, so I would do it. Well, you don't really have this yet, but when we get that, assuming we do, I'd probably do it something like this, anticipating that we can get that kind of a push here out of this 1, 2, right? It's got to keep rolling. Now, be mindful, right, of what might be happening here, right? We just swept a high. Right, so into this would be an internal, right? The internal break of structure here, because it's higher, high, higher, low, higher, high, higher, low, higher, high. Right, so we have a trend going here with displacement behind it, right? So you've got the ingredients here of this act to keep rolling. I'd want to get some buying profile on there. Come here. I'd just do the whole thing. Okay, we're on the edge, right? So this is the down move here. So where's the point of control here? So we're up now above where 70% of the traders have agreed to the value area. So we're a little overextended here if we keep going. Now we could do the same thing, right? So remember with volume profile here, this is kind of handy with TradingView here. I can have the down move here's volume profile here, and the up move is volume profile here, because I'm just pulling it from that pivot, right? So the same thing. Look where they line up, right? This is the. Do you see what's happening? You just see the framing here. This is the upswing. This is all of it. So from this low to where we are currently here, look at how they match up here. Look at the point of control for both. Interesting. All right. So okay, we're pushing here to where. Okay, how does the market evaluate where we are? Overvalued. No, let me rephrase that. We are over the value area. Not necessarily overvalued, but you could interpret it that way. Semantics, I guess, to some degree. Okay, so, I mean, I sure like the idea of if this is going to go up here and then we come down for the, sure like that idea, where we have all this volume. Kind of like the idea of putting that all together like this. Now, where would that be relative to that 2? That's a deep 2, no doubt. Now, I don't have this yet. Where's the highest probability location for a wave 4? Right there. So there's, constructing a roadmap right now. Do we know that's going to happen? Of course not, right? But at least now you're prepared, right? Because there will be times, fewer than you will experience. But when you get this, when you get something that plays exactly as you've anticipated, this is when you have to really bank it, because there are going to be more times where that's going to fall apart, right? It's just the reality of the markets, right? You're going to be wrong more than you're right. Period, period, period. Accept it. Don't fight it. Embrace it. Okay, I know I'm going to be wrong more than I'm right. But that time when I am right, when I get something like this, This is when you have to bank, right? And you can't be, oh God, what do I do this liquidity? You got to let those things run, right? Because you need this to offset all the times that this isn't going to play. You need that one. Yes, if I got to this pivot, yeah, I would take a partial, definitely, right? Because why? Because that's where retail will go, oh, it's probably safe now. I can buy it now. And what is that likely to be setting up? Right? This is just how the market moves, right? That would be the 1, 2, right? So retail will buy it here because they always do. And then you got your 1, 2, 3 of the 5, right? Potentially going higher. We just looked at where this has come from, 6,800. Where are we now? $3. Upside potential, yeah. Earnings on the horizon, yep. Good one. Thanks for that, buy Zcash. Glad to see you're looking at more than just Zcash. Zcash, talk about it. Oh my God, that thing has exploded. Okay, good one. Ben B, there he is. Haven't seen him for a little bit. All right, long-term member. I'm curious what he's looking at. What do you got here, Ben B? ACHR Aviation. I think this is one he trades a lot. So I need to copy that. Save. May. Okay. Just kind of looking. I swear to God, it's still what I'm looking at shows that you guys are 3 charts behind. I guess we're okay. I'm assuming you guys are seeing ACHR Aviation. I sure hope you are. Or if not, well, he's got an indicator here. Those are EMAs. Okay, so do I need to do this? Yeah, I think I'm going to. So we can see a little bit. Okay, right off the bat, I already love this chart, right? Because what is he taking advantage of here? Oh. All right, so we get a 50 here. We're just to be on the 50, but he's got his median lines teed up, right? There's probably multiple in here that he could take advantage of. Okay, how do we look here? How are we doing this? ABC. Okay. 1, 2. Just fine, right? ABC, right? We can have a ABC into a 1. You would anticipate then if we're going to go ABC into the 1, I mean, here's an alternate to consider. Because it's 5 down. Let's go back a little bit. Just as an alternate, because you got 5 down here. I know it's again, I'm not such a purist that I wouldn't be a little creative here. Okay, so you probably have some divergence here. Could it be 1, 2, 1, 2? Well, there's 2 ways you could consider it. It could be 1, 2, 1, 2. But I think to go ABC into the 1, I wouldn't do that. Either, let's see if we go to line chart. Yeah, we did have a lower close here, but I don't like that idea. It could just be my brain doesn't want to see that. 1, 2, 1, 2, right? So see what I will do in that situation here. I will just highlight this and go, okay, if I need another 1, 2, I know where I can get it. So 1, 2, this looks like that may be past golden. Fuck. Oh shit, what just happened? God, I'm having all sorts of technical issues. Oh, come on. I think I just froze. There we go. Okay. Just unfroze. I'm just curious. Algo's going to pull from both of them. To get it right on there. What do you know? Lo and behold. It's always the question. Why does it stop here? Why here? There's your answer. 1, 2. Where does it go? Where do we go? Right to the algo target. Okay, so 1, 2, maybe 1, 2, 1, 2, right? But certainly Al is involved. And then I get a 50, right, from here, as he noted. Now I get a 50. This is how the algo rolls, right? It works in a sequence, right? It will continue to trade these until it fails. So I got golden, 50, well, really pocket, next target. That's why you always want to keep track of AL, because once these sequences get going, they will, I've seen many in a row, right? It's just almost hard to believe how many, right? And most of the market most of retail is completely blind to it, right? They just don't understand what's happening. So let's just leave that here. We got a wave 3 target. I guess we can take this off. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Why not, right? So the first question, whenever you're labeling like that, well, then you got to look at it and go, why not? What's wrong with this? That's a lot of 1, 2s, right? But potentially there's another 1, 2 here. What's wrong with it? I don't know that there is anything wrong with it. I'm not saying there is. That's just out of curiosity. 80% burned, right? So that one's already burned, right? It's a one-time use on that 80. Too sharp, right? But we're not there yet. But that's playable. I'd go to the lowest one. We didn't get there. Remember trading principle number 4, right? Failure to get there, right? So I'd be very mindful of this low, right? I don't want to see that swept. So could this be 1, 2? Well, then, right, you see, right, we've got the potential for this 80% to be realized way up here. I've seen it, right? I've seen it taken 3-4 years. It's just amazing, right? So I wouldn't lose track of that. But the one that he's trading right now is this one, right? So 1, 2, where is he targeting for the 3? Right here. Could that be 3? I think 3 would be higher. This would be 3, 4, 5. This would be all higher. Let's take this one up. Let's go to intermediate, right? So we see a little bit better. Oh, Jesus, come on. ACHR Aviation. Okay, just not to be annoying about this. Right, it's just a habit, wicking off the ones. Well, what else am I doing here? I'm wicking off all the breakouts. Okay, right. So when I'm going, don't buy the breakout. Right, wait for the retrace. Well, there you go. I mean, you could even do it here. You got a little one here. Same thing. You could do it here, right? If you're wicking off the ones. Okay, so I just do I want to buy that? The only asset that you can actually trade breakouts, well, in my opinion, the only asset class you can actually trade breakouts, and they're not that much better, but they can be done successfully, is with equities, right? Because we have different motivation behind it. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. I got a target up here at 3. I got an ABC that's already in. I've got, you decide whether the market moves in 5s and 3s. I'm just here to showcase what I see, right? Maybe you see something different, right? 1, 2. Sure looks like I got a 5 there. Let's go down to a 3. I go to 3 because most go to a 4. Okay, do I have a good corner here? I do. Sure looks like I got a 5 going. Let's bring this down. Why not? Well, see, when you're looking at that, if this is the 1, 2, right? So there's 2 things you're looking at here. Every time you get a 1, 2, I'm anticipating a 5. Now, because it's a 1, it could be a diag, but this also looks like a 5, right? It looks like I got it. It's a little funky. I should probably do it here, right? I got a kicker in the 5th. A, B, C into a 2. What? Now, could that be in? Yeah, it could. You see the little double we have here. This is the bait. So it's just over and over again. Right here, you see it again, right? Break down, break up, right? Now, could we be done? Well, let's go to a 1. Does it look like we're done there? It's not a great looking finish. This is a little wonky, but you'd have to put the 4 here. WXY into a 4. Do we have it? We might, right? So what would have you, well, certainly cautious here, is we just swept out liquidity. So if indeed, right, and we don't, again, there's no knowing, but where would be the opportunity, right? So now, as it sits right now, right now, this could kick again. We can have another leg on this, but as it sits right now, where would I want to be a buyer? Not because I know that it's going there, but because where do they usually go? See my point, right? Again, sometimes I feel like I got to say the same shit over and over again, which is exactly deliberately, right? So that's how you learn, through repetition. So I repeat these same things over and over again until where you can't, like, oh my God, I've heard that guy say that so many times. I can't buy that. I got to wait. If that's the case, then all the repetition was worth it. So now, can I get this? Can I get a 3? Again, the market's not obligated to do it. What does it usually do? 5, 3, 5, 3. I mean, do I have to keep doing it? Right? I mean, does the market move in 5s and 3s? Don't take my word for it. Look, use your own eyes. I know, right? There's times where it's complex. Corrections are the tricky part of Elliott Wave, right? 5s, you're either getting a diag or an impulse. Pretty simple. You have a lot of different ways it can correct. That's what makes Elliott Wave challenging. And why most people abandon it, because, oh, fuck, let me just draw some lines and boxes. What the fuck is this stuff? If it didn't give you an advantage, I wouldn't teach it. There's nothing better. If there was something better, I'd teach it to you. Now, I will say, not for day trading, for swing trading, 60 minutes and above, right? There's nothing better than Elliott Wave. Many, many, many would disagree with that. It's my opinion. What do I got there? That's Ben B. I think we're good here, right? So that's a hurry up and wait. You're also in the pocket here. This is 50% of the range here. Coming down here to stay, you want to stay above this, and you certainly want to stay above this pivot, right? Because do we not have 80% probability of getting there? We do. As I emphasized last week, where we had back-to-back failed golden pockets, 80% is not 100%. So what is the pivot that matters, right? This one, right? Failure to get there sets up a move equal to or greater than the swing, right? Dr. Alan Andrews, trading principle number 4. Right now, that's certainly not a buy, but come down here. Oh, yeah, I'd be very interested. Thanks for that one, Ben B. Zcash. Oh, pardon me. I'm thinking of Zcash buyer. CZA. I don't know how else to say it. CZA is how I say it. CZEH. Copy link. Where have you been? A long-term member, been with us for a long time. Very good trader. Oh, Dash. This is my greatest disappointment, right? The most of all the crypto I bought, this is where I hit my biggest loser. Are they coming back? Are they coming back? Well, what do you think here, CZA? Oh, he's on the aggregator. Okay, so we can't pull volume, but let's what are we on here? Oh, we're on a weekly. We got to be in, no, we're not in large scale. Something's up here. The RSI updated. Look how far back we're going. It distorts your eye, right? That's 2014. All-time high 1600. Well, lo and behold, where are we retracing? Right? Do we have a 1, 2, 3? Do we? Holy shit! Well, it's kind of odd here, but it certainly looks like we've got a 3 that's corrected. Just out of curiosity, is that Al? It's a little wiki there. Here's the golden from below. How do I get these off here? We're at the 50% on the weekly. Yeah, mini correction pattern time. Right. Yeah, modern Picasso. He knows, right? He's been trading it for a long time. Okay, so we've got a big imbalance right here. There's good signs here of a little momentum divergence. I got that twice. I don't need that twice. Okay, maybe we got signs of life there. Over to his 3-hour. Oh, that's kind of cool that he did that. Got it on 2. So is this 1? What is that one? Oh, I see what he's doing. Okay, I gotta let me go to a 4 here. Okay, where's my low? So are we pulling from this? All right, hang on. Let me get this off here. Let's see what he's doing. Okay, so we're going to work from this low as the 1. This is going to look better in log scale. Okay, all right, do we need, okay, let's take that out for a second. Why would you put, yeah, that's a little funky. Okay, I see what you did. Let's get this wicked. All right, just, okay, so here's the launch point. 3, you're kind of stuck with that. Do we need to put that 2 there? Yeah, this is where a line chart can be helpful. Well, I'm sure he sees what I want to put this up here. Okay, you used a small one here. Let's do that. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, but there's a giant wick in there. Giant sell-off wick here that, remember in the wicks, when you get these giant wicks, right, just think of it like a fair value gap. And look how the 50, you see the same thing with Bitcoin. I don't know where it is now. But the 50% is kind of, if we can hold the 50, right, usually, right, that's mitigated. So this is, I see it's really close, right? You can't have a 2 get overlapped, but I would be more inclined here working off the line chart to put that as the 1. I know that's sloppy Elliott. You could, technically, my Elliott wizards would be, screaming at me, but I got a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 that finishes that. That's a bit of a judgment call. I'm not sure that's bad news. Let me do this. Where the length of time is, you see, that would be the problem with that 2, right? It's just, it's too abrupt. Yeah, I can't say I love this, but okay, right. So I'd be looking for something deeper down here on the assumption here that this is the vertical. Well, there's a couple things, right? I should have left this on here, right? From this consolidation right here, we get this nice box. The only thing we know, right, you hear me say this a lot, the only thing we know with absolute certainty that from consolidation will come expansion, right? There's a nice example of it. But I'd want to see a deeper retrace before I got overly interested, so you could probably bring this in down here. Now give me a nice 3 and I'm all over it. I still have some of this. Not a lot, I don't know, $400 or $500 worth. Come down here where I've got this nice big order block here waiting here. So yeah, I'd be real interested down here. This is, now if you have to recount this, right, because we keep going higher, again, that's a high class problem. You could look at this and just go, does it have the right look? Well, you know, the length of time of the 2. I suppose you could, oh, no, you can't, right? That's a 5 down. A, B, C. I guess there's an outside chance here since we're on the aggregator here. How close is that? Let's just take a look there. No, you couldn't get it, right? Because you got an A, B, diag C. You're stuck with that. You're stuck over here. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A, B, oh, Jesus, just a shit show of a C. It's not impulsive, right? So the only reasonable conclusion here would be we did this into that C here as a 2. Then we get the launch. Bring it on down. Like it very much down here. Again, just pull risk reward. Where's the better risk reward? We're up here. I want to be down here. Now, what are we shooting for? That. Can we get over 200? Well, that's going to be, there'll be plenty of time to onboard with that. We're not likely to go vertical, but we could. I mean, we could get a pretty nice reaction out of this. We get something in that too. I'd get that on your radar. I don't know why they were just abandoned by the whole crypto market, but they were. Okay, thanks for that, CZA. How am I doing on time? 101. Okay, this one I struggle with. BU7 Amani 93. Oh, look at the market. Jesus, I'm just taking a peek over at the futures market. Volatility much? Okay, up, down, they can't decide which way they want to go. All right. If you're a day trader, this volatility is pretty remarkable. Copy link. Okay, let's see what BU7 Amani's thinking. Not sure what he's. Oh shit. Okay, little heads up here. We got a orange. Orange. Is that orange? I guess that's an orange. That's an unusual choice for a background, right? But you know, to each his own. Oh, that is so. Get your eyes prepared for that. Whew, that's harsh. B7 Amani. I'm going to change this here. I can't even see that one. All right, so I can get here so I can see what you're looking at. Okay. Oh, here we got Doge. Right. So here's the Perpetual. We're on BitGet, right? We used to trade there until the U.S. citizens that used to be a sponsor until we got blocked per their U.S. no U.S. traders. Okay. Well, that doesn't look so good. Well, that's the liquidation wick, right? Where, God, there were people committing suicide over that. For what I read, which is hard to believe, but you know, what's more emotional than money? Nothing. Okay, so what am I? I've got a daily up here, so it looks like I got a pretty clean looking impulse. Or pardon me, diag. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I got 5 swings, right? But I don't have an impulse. You're kind of stuck with it. What else? You got 5 swings and higher highs and higher lows, so you're kind of stuck with that. Was Al involved here? Of course he was. Things that do not happen randomly. Where's it go? Can't make that shit up. I don't know how many times I've shown it, but a lot. That's literally to the tick. 65 to the tick. Right at the edge of value. Now, we got a monster wick there. Again, think of this as just a big imbalance, just a big fair value gap. Actually, let me get in there. It's not quite to it. It's right here. So recovered. Now, the 50 has not been tested. So if we start to come back down, this distorts, right? So heavily, right? So if you look at it here, oh, different look to it. Put it back. It's like, what the? Right? Did the algos take advantage of that? Yeah, they did. But it's so. What do you do with it? Can we go to a 4? Right? It's completely. You know, so we're going to go 1, 2. Well, if you're here, you might, right? 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to let this get cleaned up. I'd much rather see it come down here and tap that. Not that, you know, if you're long, I'm not rooting for the sell-off here, but just in terms of a technician, what do you do with that? Well, the only thing you can do here is just say, okay, I'm going to just use this as my low, right? I'm going to start my come here. I'm going to start my count right here. Then I got a 1, 2. I mean, it's pretty good actually. All right, look what I get here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're just kind of stuck with that. 1, 2. Is that Al? Could be. Looks like it's a 50. So a little bit further down. I would take that. Now, stop placement has to be, you know, don't give this a lot of room, because the potential is we're going all the way down here, right? They're going to tap that. So you're right here. We're at high volume here, so there's a lot of participation here. That's tradable. I'd love to see it come down and tap that golden, because this is the, right? How do we correct? Not every time, every chart, forever and ever, but how do we usually correct? It could be Al again on the other side. Remember, he's always there on both sides. Always, always, always. Yeah, there he is. Right, again, I can't make this shit up. Target down here. Right, so you got a little fib fight here between one gold into another. Right, it happens all the time. You should see how often that happens in the futures market for day traders. Right, it's just constant. It's just ping, 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 just nonstop. Right. Just, they say, I read the other day that Goldman Sachs, 10,000 trades a second. You want to compete with that? No, you don't, because you can't. You cannot. 1, 2. All right, fib fight. Who wins this, right? We're sitting right here in this high volume node. You have absolutely no edge here other than the pattern recognition. So if we get down here, right, you're at a high volume node. So if you can see the potential for this to come down here. Now look where we are, right? They'd like to trade off the ledges, right? So you'd have a low volume node here, relatively low volume node. Now, okay, what are we trying to tee up for? The 3, right? But if we're going to get it, remember, it's not optional. It must create an impulse. If it's going to be a 3, it's not optional, right? We have to have that. So where's the onboard that you'd be looking for? Right there. Now, ideally, what's the setup that you hope for, right? Every time you see one of these set up, what you're hoping for is that you've got some sort of imbalance in here that you could take advantage of. That this pushes off enough so you can almost script it, right? Sweep the low here, right? Get retail short. Sweep the low, right? Oh, breakout traders. Oh, what's going to do? We're going down to test the low, which we might. I'm not saying we're not, but just in terms of setup, what you want to look for is some sort of liquidity sweep. Do we have it? Well, you know, maybe you got one next to it, but I'd rather see it sweep that. Go right into the golden. Reaction, because an algo will fire there. Well, it's already fired, right? They start at the 50 and then they push at the 618. So we get to this. Now, if I can get that, that's the one I want. Now, granted, you got to clear that. Remember, okay, but this is the fractal nature of Elliott Wave. If this is going to be the 3rd, that impulse also not optional, right? Every 3, it's not optional. So if you're here, you say, well, I'll put a little in my pocket there. Maybe it's not enough to make it worthwhile. But what are you concerned about? Oh. Right, so this pivot would have to hold, right? Because this has to hold, right? So otherwise, it could, you know, you could have one A, B. We're going to span the B, and the C is going to go deeper, right? You got to be prepared for that possibility, because there's no knowing. There's only, okay, well, I'm looking for, what am I looking for? I'm looking for that 1, 2, higher high, higher low, higher high, right? So you're going to see it over and over again. That's why you have to pay attention to these pivots, right? There's the wave 1, right? So that might be where you would take a little. If this is 1, 2, right? Again, see, it just repeats. Right. If this is 1, 2, and that's going to be the 3, well, we need another, right? It's not optional. We need another 5. Whoops. 5 in there. 1, 2, 1, 2, right? In each one of these, that has to be a 5. That has to be a 3. This, you see, that requiring that. Some people will look at that and go, oh, fuck, are you kidding me? What a pain in the ass. No. That's not the way to look at that, right? This is a huge advantage. Knowing that if this is going to play, it must do this. Not might do that, must do it. Or the analysis is incorrect, right? Or the market's just not playing Elliott ball. I keep saying this, right? When it's doing this, right, you gotta maximize your returns on that, because most times it won't play the way you've mapped it out. It's just reality of trading. But when it does, and it will, you got to bank. And you can't be, when you're in one that's going, you can't be a pussy about it. You got to let it run. Take some partials along the way. But if you know that this has to be impulsive, right? You want to take advantage of that, not be afraid of it. That's when you let them run. That doesn't mean you oversize and you overtrade it or over leverage it, right? Everybody got taught a lesson about leverage last week. Everybody got taught that lesson. Some very, very hard lesson learned. This is a huge advantage. I don't think people really realize how big an advantage it is to know that this must come. Must. Huge advantage, not a pain in the ass. Huge advantage, right? If you know what you're doing. Okay, so I think we're good there. There's nothing to do here until we see how this resolves. Does it look like it's done? Not really. We're looking for 5 down there. Do we have it? Not really. Could it be done? Well, yeah, of course, right? The market's not obligated to do anything. It doesn't look very good. Do I have something here? You're kind of stuck with this. That's kind of sloppy, right? There's nothing left other to call that other than a B. 1, 2, right? This could go deeper. Nothing says it can't. That's a shit show. Where are we? Right at the edge of value. You got another wick down here, right? Each wick, right, you consider kind of like a fair value gap, right? It's an imbalance, right? Come down to it, you might get a reaction, but I wouldn't, that's not, is that Al in there? Probably. Here's that target. But that's not, I got no edge there. I'm down on a 15 where I don't like to go down that low unless I'm digging out a count. Do I have a count there? Not really. So to me, all that says to me, hold off. Let me rephrase that. Hold off. No new trade until that clears itself up. I have no particular advantage here. I don't know what this is. It's slop is what it is. I go back to the 60 where I can see it a little bit better. I just got a slop here at high volume, right? So you've no particular edge here. Let's see. How am I doing? Buy Zcash. Too early. Buy Zcash. Okay. So buy Zcash. Got a few more. How am I doing? 112. Okay. I got 15 minutes. Okay. So CN Salazar, right? One of my favorite members. Been with us forever. Apple asked for this. Oh, shit. What is with my machine? Here we go. Let's go out to a daily. I got what I got here. I got Boost 7 Amani's volume profile, which is fine with me. That looks like it's visible range. What do you got here? Got to be visible range. I'm going to take that off for a second. Okay, where are we? Excuse me. All right. Boy, you're ugly. Well, just a couple of things that I would just immediately, right, just force a habit. How do we do here? On the daily, that's wicks only, right? So algo stays alive. I mean, large scale probably need to be. Well, let's double the range. If we focus here on this, well, hang on a second. If we, on the assumption that this is a 4 here and we've gone 1, 2. So let's just work off this latest set of swings here. 1, 2. You're gonna have to do it here. Looks like that's what we've got there. Looks like you got a running flat there. How do we do here? A little skinny. Okay, so let's zoom in just off of this section here. And this is just, again, these are just little habits that I have. Let's take you up. Okay, 3, 4. Can't say I love that, but it looks like it's a running flat for 5. Well, it's a little unclear, but it's three swings. Now, what do we got? Well, it's starting to look better here. Ah, come here. Looks like we've got something going in here. So what do we do with this? Sometimes a line can be helpful here. Not in this case. You really don't have a lot to work with there. That would have me a little suspect of it. I suppose the best choice would be here. Go to sub, and let's change that color to, let's go here. Okay, you got a shitty one, no way around it. But then I get, remember, if we're going to get a third, right, I gotta have an impulse, which I get. Now, please tell me you're hyper focused on that, right? That you see that. So, two things. One, surprising they didn't sweep it. It will get swept. It's too close not to. So it sets up the 5, right? Doesn't it? Well, that's a little bit of a fucker. You might do it here. No. You just got equal. You got all these. Oh, God damn it. This is all liquidity right here. Equal lows. All right, but it's very surprising, right? So when there's obvious liquidity and they don't get it, God damn it. Sorry, I suffer from these allergies like you can't believe. Austin allergies, they're the worst in the country, and I do suffer. Okay, all right, so we can construct something here. It's just standard ops, right? It's a bit of a wag on the wave 2. I do this from the low. How's volume look? Where's value? I got a high volume node up here. I was trying to establish value up here, right? As you know, it stays up there and we get more pricing action there. Here's my value area, and I'm just working off the low. If I come into this zone here. Well, what do we right? Not what do we know? What would we like to see? Right? Can I get? No, fuck me. Can I get something like that down here? Can I get a little? That's what you're after. Now, are we going to get it? Well, it sets up pretty nicely. You'd probably call this just a bigger order block, a little down. A, working on A, B, C. I have no problem buying in there at 233. I'd do an option spread, right? But that looks pretty good. This is going to get swept. So remember now, same concept here. If we're going to get a 5 here, 1, 2, 3, sweeping the liquidity here, 4, 5. All right, maybe we get a little run. Maybe we get that. All right, right here, got to be careful. That looks pretty good. So it's right now, my suggestion would be hold. Now, but you look at it and you go, well, what if it does it here? What if it does it now? Okay, well, what if it does? Well, did you miss the trade? Well, first question would be, okay, what's happening here? You have to pay attention at that pivot, right? If we do this, right, so you got two choices. Is that A, B? We're expanding the B. If we come down here, well, where's the tail, right? Here's where the risk is. You have to take the risk here that we don't do this. You'd have to take that risk that the 2 is going to go in because it's the same concept over and over again. Where's there going to be liquidity here? If this starts to go up here, let's do this. If we were to do this, right, what would your concern be? Oh, A, we expanded the B right here just to grab that liquidity, and we're going to come down here. So where's the liquidity? Here and here. So you can just kind of, so what would give you some inclination here that you'd want to wait? Well, look at the length of time. For this to be the 4, it's very abnormal. Not that that it couldn't be. It's just, again, as I'd like to say, well, what does it usually do? That length of time for that 2, and that's a weird 2 already. That we're going to do this. Now, granted, that's a daily. Got a 4 here. Does that look like we're done? Again, I'm never saying that we couldn't be. I'm just saying that that's not what it usually does. I like it down here. He wanted another one too. Humana. Humana. Let's go to a daily. Right, always start on a daily with equities. Do I need to be in log scale? If I don't want to be. Okay. Well, things that should just scream at you, like right off the bat. Did they just tick it enough, right, to grab the liquidity there? Kind of looks like it. You starting to notice a pattern? Well, that's kind of a shit show there. 3, 3. What are you doing with that? It's almost uncountable, right? But I can still trade this because I've got the footprints here of institutional activity here, right? They swept the low, they left, right? Remember, we can use these wicks as like a fair value gap. Al involved? Let's find out. Well, that's wick only. Right? No closes below, just a wick, just a liquidity wick. Could be, now, of course, there's an equity here. Could be they're coming down to fill this gap. They are. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. Oh, shit, what did I do there? All right, let's try that again. Went too fast. 1. Do I know that's 2? I do not know that that's 2, but right now, that's what how I would tee that up. A, B, C is what that looks like. So this would have to be 1, 2. I can tell it's already too far for this to be a second. That's not too bad. But what do we have right in the middle of it? Big fair value gap that's now being mitigated. It's being inverted. All right, so let's get that up here with inverse. All right, so we can see it's being inverted. Do I have both of them on there? I'm kind of surprised it's not showing them to me. There we go. All right, so there we have so this you see how it was a, I'm assuming you guys know what they are, right? So here's the fair value gap that was a bullish fair value gap. Now it's bearish. So you got to be mindful of the possibility that we're doing something like this. We're going to come deeper because of that, right? So this one fully mitigated. We run into this one where it was inverted because this was potentially bullish, right? It's inverted. Note how they pay attention to those. That's why they're so popular, because they're very effective. Now, not every fair value gap or inverted fair value gap is going to hold, right? There are many that don't. But it's just one more tell that there's institutional activity here. I mean, these are pretty good. So if it's 1, 2, then this has to be 1, 2, right? That's not much of a, there's not a lot of subdivision in that correction. And a lot of imbalances here. What do we got? What's going on here? Texas judge upheld Medicare bonus cuts. Okay, right. So you've got anything with politics involved, and be careful of. I wouldn't touch that myself, right? Just too soon. It's too. This could be fuck, that's not much of a corrective B, right? So I would probably label it this way. Jesus. Jesus, you almost have nothing there. Let's go to 1. Is there any subdivision in there? Well, this is your. God, we have to do this? Looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like you're gonna have to do A. Ugh. BC, which I can't say I love, right? So it's just abnormal, right? So, okay, well, do I want to trade that? Well, gun to my head, buy or sell, I'm a buyer. Where's the better risk reward? On the long side. But I wouldn't trade this. I'd wait. If this is going to be 1-2, right? If, right, that is not optional. Right? So I'll just kind of bring that out again. This has got to be this. Right? Has to, or this analysis is incorrect. So I'll wait for this. If that's the 2, I'll wait for the next 2. Because it must come. Not optional. Okay. Okay, so I got Ben B. How am I doing? 126. I think I'm going to eat everybody here. Let's leave that one. What I got back from Ben B. Spider on oil and gas. Got to copy that one. Do this one because my machine's acting weird. Get rid of some of these. Oh, watch your eyes. Okay. Oh, interesting. 195-minute. Which I think is the exact of a 3-hour. Looks like a 4, but Sam won't like how far out of the channel it drifts. Well, true, right? So it's okay. We've got very sharp, and then we've got very long sideways. I would have to take it out to daily to look at it. Well, so what he's highlighting here is that the we have a complete we have a complete channel breakdown, right? So let's see if we double it. Can we contain it? Close. Well, how is she going to count that, right? On the assumption that this is a good 3, long 4. It's an ETF. Oh, let's set up. Oh, hang on. Let me just hide that. Well, how are we technically, right? How do we look here? Where's the highest probability location for a wave 4? Right there. Are we coming out of here? Let's go back to, oh, we had 195. I swear, I think if I just do 195, I think that's a 3-hour. 1, 2, why not? What's wrong with it? Nothing. Let's zoom in a little bit. 1, 2. Well, it's a good impulse. 1, it's deep for the 2. So what can you do here, right? You just wick off this low, right? If they take that, the count's invalidated. Period. If we sweep this low, like the one rule you can never break is the start of the 1, the 2 can never overlap it, right? So that's a clear exit, right? So again, that's people look at it and go, oh, what a pain in the ass. What if they just come down here and wick the liquidity? Oh, well, that's very possible. But you can't go, oh, well, they just liquidity wick. I'm going to call it the 2. No, that will just get you in trouble. You can't do that, right? So that kind of clarity in the decision tree is a huge advantage, not a disadvantage. 1, 2. 1 could be 2. It looks like well, here, let me get this back on here. Is the advantage of this little, oh shit, you got to do caps for some reason on this one. Okay, all right, we got order blocks down here. Those have been, well, not completely mitigated, right? It'll stay on the chart until it's going to close on the other side of it. So you're coming into the imbalances down here. You know, that's too far for me, and I don't like the look of it. So what would I do? I'd wait for something up here. Maybe we come back to test this, and I'd wait for this, right? I got a big imbalance here. That's what I would do, right? Because I've got all of this where, you know, it's an imbalance, period. Right? It's just imbalance. Right now we come up here, fill the gap. I'll take the 2, right? Probably. Well, we probably call this an order block right here. All right, so can I get something out of here to pop and then give me a retrace? Maybe there you get, well, again, you got fair value gaps here that would be inverted. So potentially, right, you got a retrace down into something like this. Maybe you get something here. That's what I would wait for. But look how deep you are. So I would not be trying to be a buyer down here. I'd be waiting for the next kick and retrace. On that one, thanks for that one, Ben B. Dr. Alban, what is he looking at? Let's see. Copy link. Dr. Alban. You can't get anything by Dr. Alban. He's very attentive to the charts. So hang on. Okay, let's see what he's thinking. All right, what do we got? Oh, we're back with Dog. This is one of his faves. Dogwifhat. Okay, got the full spectrum of fibs over here, which I like. We are in log scale. Okay, so we doubled up here. Did we sweep that liquidity? I'd be shocked if we didn't. God, it looks like a true double. It really does. Unusual. Okay. One, two, three, four. Okay, well, we got, yeah, I see what he's doing. He's doing that to help me just kind of identify how he's calling this. Now, same idea. Oh, here, give me a second. Let's do this here. Impulse, correct. Oh, you might, that's, okay, all right, we'll let it fly. Okay, ABC into the 5 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Impulse, right, obviously. There's A, B, C into the B. Yeah, it looks like it, right? So that would have been, so this is a good example. So if you look at this, you would think, oh, impulse, right? We got the, oh, we doubled here. Oh, that's weird. But oh, a true double. I mean, literally to the tick double. Oh, that must be the correction. Must be over here, right? Look where we are. 618. It's golden. I think obviously it's a golden zone. In fact, if I do that. Lo and behold. So you'd be looking at that thinking, oh, that's got to be it, right? Oh, and then look, we come off with an impulse, right? So wait, that's got to be it. Got to be. What's the 5s and 3s? Are you gonna try and turn that into a 3? I think not. So it's not. It doesn't set up correctly, based on what we would teach you. That's impulsive. So that's the A wave. And then you get stuck with this into the B. Let's put that. You're kind of forced into it because this. Well, I'm not saying that couldn't possibly be the two, right? It's, again, there's no absolutes in the market. It's just that would be incredibly unusual. It's technical. It's, hello. Now what do I have? Now I have an ABC. Well, let's see. Right? He's suggesting we might have one more leg down here. Just note where do we bounce? Right. So right. Remember the algo is not always going to be the golden zone, right? They start at the 50. Where do we go? Where's the algo target? You think that's a coincidence? I think not. It's up to you. Make your own determination if you think that's a coincidence. Now, we have this massive wick again. I like to think of these as just big fair value gaps. All right, so does it need to come back down? Well, this is where going to a line chart, right, can be useful. Right? Do we need to go down there? Or is that just liquidation wicks? Maybe, right? So I'm not saying that the low is in. I'm just saying I wouldn't mind it coming down a little bit further here. So the idea, as he's noted here, if this is 1-2, right? Pardon me. If this is A and this is B, we're looking for 5 down here. Now, could you kind of in your mind's eye go, okay, well, there's a, it's so extreme that and it's impulsive, right? For lack of a better way to describe it, right? We can't call it, it's not corrective. It's just a free fall, right? And again, liquidation, so it gets exaggerated. Well, so if you go to a line chart, then you might think, well, hey, wait a minute. What about a 1-2? Well, we're back to, that's a very irregular finish. If we're back here, well, now I've got my ABC and potentially done here. I suppose the alternate that would be in here would be if we had, if we had a WXY, right? So we'd have ABC. Now, you're going to have to dig to get that into an ABC. It's probably doable. It ain't pretty. But it's something you'd have to consider as a possibility if we start to rally here. If, right? Otherwise, the way he's counting it, right, we'd be, see, already look at what you'd be calling it. Right, look? Definitely not. Doesn't mean it couldn't be how it resolves, but I wouldn't trade off of that. So when I say that, I'm not saying don't trade off of it. I'm just saying, if our focus is on where we can get the right look and those setups that are, because they do come, right? They come all the time. The setups that are so perfect. Oh my God, how good is that? I wait for those. Now, I'm pretty sure Dr. Alban is in Dogwifhat, right? So this could be a little bit of, he's either in or he likes to trade it, right? Because it's one that he posts regularly. Now, if you're in something, right, and you got a little hopium, my guess is he'd be long, but maybe not, right? So, I don't know how he's positioned. I just know he posts this one a lot. We certainly could be done, but I'm on a daily here. Oh, let's go to 1 hour. You're kind of back to what we looked at before. This looks like a 1. Doesn't it? Oh, it ain't the most gorgeous start. Oh, fuck, come here. Jeez, I can't seem to get my clicker on it. There we go. All right, do I have a 1 starting at ABC? And it kind of looks like you might. So I'd be watching for that. This here is off the daily. That's the daily wick. Shit. I see. I don't like the idea of going 1-2. I wouldn't count it that way. Now this is a little bit of, okay, you're improving here, because if I go back here, okay, right? Am I going to do 1-2? Right? Again, that's all wick. 1-2. Right? Could be you're doing it here based off of closes. It still looks like it's 1. And we're coming down for the 3. Actually, it's much cleaner here. That wick just distorts everything so dramatically that's why I encourage you to look at both. So if we're going to come down here, well, we've got a big imbalance right here. I mean, you can do the same thing with fair value gaps, right? We've got a big imbalance here on the closes. So we're coming down here for a little retest, sweep this low. But that's all, again, that's what ABC, or that's why I'm always amused when people say, oh, man, I don't trade Elliott Wave, I trade market structure. Well, you can't do one without the other. So A, B, we kind of sweep that low. There's your change of character. We come down here, right? And then what you're looking for is we come off of this, right? 1-2, right? And then it fully recovers. Next target's up here. I think you got to be cautious with that one as it sits right now. I'd want confirm, because I would tee it up and think of it in my mind's eye the same way. If this comes down here and we start to go, if it's a 3, right, the impulse is not optional. And that would likely be the 1 of the 3, right? If we're going to have a true alt season and alts are going to recover and go, which many are absolutely sure we're not, just as many are absolutely sure we are, right? So nobody knows. I don't know, a meme coin? I wouldn't be putting a lot of capital into that, right? Tradable, but shit happens. I know you missed it, Dr. Alban. But, Okay, how am I doing? I got to do one. I got to do BCH, right? So Zcash, I may be out of time. I got to do BCH because that was the request off of. X. Why am I? I don't know. What do I want here? Oh, let's do the perpetual. What the hell? Go to daily. BCH perpetual. I'm going to take this off. Well, I'll just, right off the bat, I kind of see that. Just kind of loosely, I don't know why not that. Get you right on there. It's 50 to the tick. Algo's involved. Let you draw your own conclusion. ABC into a 2. So why not? Why not this? It's always the question you got to ask yourself. What's wrong with it? Why would it not? Oh, fuck me. Come here. Why would it not be that? It's just my habit. Corrections in yellow. Okay. Well, same thing you've heard me say many times today, and pretty much every time I do a video. If we're going to get a 3, what's coming here is not optional. Right? So we need to have an impulse here. Do we have a corner? We do. And now, it's a bit of a judgment call here. This is, oh, fuck. See, the angle is too sharp. I might do this. Right, because Andrews wasn't working with Elliott Waves. It was my choice to combine the two. I like this better, right? Working off this pivot, they're so close, and it's all wick. I would work off this for that corner. Still the 2. So what are we thinking here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's go to white. There's no imbalances here. Notice that? There's no fair value gaps. Whoops, so I got this again. Let's take it here. Looks like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to finish that. This is a shit show. Just all overlaps here, but there's the things to watch for. You just got it. Where's the single worst place to buy this on the chart? Right there. Did somebody buy it? They absolutely did. This is bait, right? You can just look at this, right? It's just, oh, come on. They're not stupid enough to buy it, are they? Oh my God, they are. Where would be the only place that would be worse to buy it? I guarantee you there'll be buyers there. Guarantee it, right? You think there's some liquidity up there? They do it over and over again, right? And we need a few of them to go, right? Or they'll stop doing it, right? But they never disappoint. They always do it. So we'd be down here thinking, okay, is that 1, 2 or A, B, right? Don't know. And I have nothing really here to give me a whole lot to work with. I mean, you probably talk yourself into an order block in there, but there's no imbalance here. So there are no footprints here of institutions getting aggressive here. Oh, maybe you go down to 4, you get something here, but even there, right? It's shitty. Just chop, right? It's chop. See, again, I'm not saying this couldn't be a 1, 2 and we're going to the moon. I'm just saying, as a technician, that's not what I want to see. That's not good price action. Now, there's some hardcore Bitcoin Cash enthusiasts. Why, I don't know. But, I mean, it's still trading at, 523. I mean, is this what we're going to use for transactional Bitcoin? I don't think so, but I could be wrong. Again, there's a lot of people that really like it. I'd just be waiting down here. Maybe you got a little imbalance there, but this is because it's not impulsive, right? But it's, to me, there's better things to trade. Why? We've got, I don't know, how many fucking crypto coins are there? There's so many. Why are you going to trade something that looks shitty? Why? Because you like the, I don't know, the community, the code, the whatever the fuck. Why? Wait until it looks better. I'm not saying don't trade it. Wait until it looks better. That looks like something I wouldn't trade. Let's see. Somebody else here was. Oh, CRO. Well, we'll finish with this one, right? Since apparently Trump's got, I don't know how much money. He's not. It's just fucking unbelievable. We are in the age of corruption like we've never seen before. It's absolutely astonishing. But nobody cares as long as the market keeps going up. They're literally advertising this. Yeah, I'm sure you've seen the ads. The first CRO. Treasury. Jesus Christ. It's unbelievable that it's happening, but it's in your face all day. It's wick only. Now, I do know that this is not a meme coin. There's a strong use case for this. Somebody pointed that out to me a couple of weeks ago. What do I see here? Sometimes just the most obvious thing. Sure looks like a whole lot of consolidation. They got hurt just as well. Maybe Barron got a heads up to short that before. He sure was aggressive shorting the whatever the fuck their other piece of shit is, the Trump World Liberty bullshit coin. I shorted that 30 minutes before the announcement. What insider trading? What? What's your edge here? Okay, the only edge you have here is corruption, and that there is a use case. But the price action here, we can do the same thing here. You want to trade that as a 1-2-1-2? I wouldn't. It's not yet. Again, so many things to trade. Why trade something that looks like shit? Why, right? Because Trump won't let it fall? Probably true. But as a technician, I wouldn't even go near that. Did I get everybody? I think we're good. Okay. All right. I think we're good here. And I'm way over. Okay. I'm going to wrap it there. All right. I'm sorry to let my politics seep in. I just fucking hate it. I should stop. Okay. All right. I'm going to get off. So thanks for hanging out with me. I don't know what happened with the stream, but it looks like you guys were able to see the right stuff. All right, hope you got a little benefit from it. All right, these will be my team. George does it for me. He'll have all the time codes done for these, so you can come back and look at these. Some of these I think were pretty good. But just the idea, hopefully you learned something, right? Remember, it's about swing trading, not day trading, right? Where this is longer term stuff. That's where the Elliott is most effective, right? Do you have any Elliott here?